सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां दयाकरं दयाकारं दान्तं धर्मप्रवर्तकं प्रणमामि दयानन्दं मदाचार्यवरं परम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ नमो भगवते वैवस्वताय मृत्यवे ब्रह्मविद्याचार्याय नचिकेतसे च। अग्निर्यथैको भुवनं प्रविष्टः रूपं रूपं प्रतिरूपो बभूव एकस्तथा सर्वभूतान्तरात्मा रूपं रूपं प्रतिरूपो बहिश्च। So, this is we saw this yesterday. The fire here is not a particular kind of a fire. In fact, it's the Agni Tattva, the fire element or the fire principle. And so, what about it? Bhuvanam Pravishtaha. Bhuvanam Pravishtaha means having entered the world, having entered the Jagat. Bhuvana here is Jagat because Bhuvana means Loka, Bhuvana means home, so many things it means. So here it means the entire Jagat having entered the Jagat. It doesn't really have a shape or form of its own. It takes on the shape of whatever it burns, it takes on the shape of that. Sometimes you see the whole mountain on fire. That's because the trees on the mountain are there in the shape of the mountain, because wherever the mountain is, that's where the trees have grown, and so you see the whole hill on fire, and so the fire then becomes the shape of the hill. And then in the same way, the Atma, which doesn't have a shape or a form of its own, as it were, enters various upadhis. What are upadhis? We know. Various upadhis like the crystal, which has red flower, yellow flower, etc. behind it, and then looks yellow, red, all these things. So, in the same way, the Atma also, what does the Atma do? The Atma as though enters, we say. We can't really say it enters. The Atma as though enters. As though enters means what? Appears to take on the form of the upadhi with which it is as though associated. In reality, it's not associated with anything. Nothing is associated with the Atma, but looks like as it lends its satta spurti to everything, as it lends its existence to everything that is there, because everything that is there is nothing but the projection, and as though projection of the Atma itself. We saw that earlier. So, and in the Taittiriya Upanishad, this is very clearly explained. Tasmad va etasmat atmanah, what sambhutah? Akashas sambhutah. Akashat, what else sambhutah? Vayuhu sambhutah. Then Vayoho, what sambhutah? Agnihi sambhutah. So the Agni has come from what? From Atma alone. From Atma alone Agni has come, and then therefore the Atma has not, we can't say has created, even though it says Sambhutah, from it has come, it has as though come, because nothing has come, nothing can come from that which is not associated with anything. So then how did the Atma create Vayu, or Agni for that matter? If that question is asked, we say it's not so much a creation, but an as though projection of the, like for example, if one light, this is the Dakshinamurti Stotra example, one lamp is there, over that you cover the lamp with another earthen pot with 4 or 5 holes. And that one lamp, does it look to be? It looks to be many. And then, so like this is more of a wrong understanding because of delusion. The child, Balaha, what will the children think? Oh, there are many, many lights, each in the shape of one animal. Here is a cow, here is a pig, here is a goat, here is a dog and cat. This is what the children will think. And especially if you move the lamp like this and the animals are going round and round in a dark room, this is what the child will think. But the adult knows better. Here also the Jnani knows better. The Jnani knows that all these things that are supposedly that have come from the Atma, starting with this body, that body, the body of the cat, dog and all the other animals, the body of the tree and the body of the human being, the body of even the Devatas, all of them have this, they are all as though projections of the Atma, which is not affected by any one of them. So now, if this much is understood, we can take this example of the fire to another degree. Like, for example, fire has 2 qualities, 2 intrinsic attributes. What are they? Light and heat. Aushnyam. What is Aushnyam? Light. Heat. And Prakashaha. These are the 2 qualities which are intrinsic to fire. Without these 2 qualities, there is no fire. You can't call something fire. So, now we find that in the wood which the fire consumes, what are the qualities that prevail? What are the qualities that you see? You see the heat, correct? And you also see the light. Now we take a Tapta Ayaf Pindaha, example from Drigdrishya Viveka. Taptayavat, Ayaf Pindavat, Ayaf Pinda. Ayaf Pinda, Ayaha means iron, Pinda, ball. So, when you heat up the ball for so many degrees and degrees of Fahrenheit, then what happens? The iron becomes red hot ball. It can even illumine a room. You keep it in the middle of the room, and what does it do? It illumines the whole room. And if you go near it, you know it is terribly hot. Can't go near it. So both the heat and the light, the iron ball is able to take. So the Chaitanya similarly in the form of anything. In a round form it will be round like the ball. In a long form it will be long, the same Chaitanya. And then so here the Ayaf Pinda is able to borrow both the intrinsic qualities of fire. But then you take water, all right? For your tea, you put the water on the stove. And when it boils, you find only one attribute of fire pervading in the water. What is that? Heat. What happened to the light? Water is incapable of emitting or projecting that particular quality. Does that mean the fire is not in the water? The fire is in the water. The Agni Tattva is in the water. That's why it is hot. But it's not the mistake of Agni. It's not that Agni is partial to the red hot iron ball and not to the water, whereas for the red hot iron ball it lends everything and gives fully of itself, the Aushnyam, Prakasha, etc. And then, but here it only partially only gives heat but not light. It's not the fault of Agni. Where is the limitation? The limitation is in the upadhi of the water that can only project, that can only emit one particular quality, one particular intrinsic quality of the Agni in the example. Now this is the Drishtanta. Let us take now what? Darshtanta. What is Agnisthaniya? What is in place of the Agni here? Atma. Now, if we read the Taittiriya Upanishad, if we study, and even otherwise we know, Atma has 3 lakshanas that are intrinsic to itself. Without those lakshanas, without those definitions, we can't call them attributes, because then they would be something that is superimposed. Every attribute has got the sense of it being put on something else. So an attribute is dispensable. An attribute is an alankara to the substantive in question. But here we are not talking of attributes. What are we talking about? We are talking about that which is intrinsic to Atma. What is that? Sat Ananda. Satchidananda. Intrinsic to the Atma is Satchidananda. And so therefore we find that in the stone, what happens? What amsha is there? We can't call it amsha really. So what is there in the stone? Out of Satchitananda? Yeah. Just like the fire, only one out of the fire, only one attribute is there in the water. Similarly, only Sadamsha is there in all inert things. Table, what is there? Sadamsha. Chidamsha is there, but it's there in where? The Atma. Atma is present in the table, but because of the upadhi, the limitations connected to the upadhi of the table, which means what? It has sukshma sharira. Sorry, it does not have sukshma sharira. It has, I meant to say no sukshma sharira, the word no got swahad, okay, swallowed up. So it has no sukshma sharira. So how will it broadcast the chit? It cannot. Sukshma sharira abhavat, the table will have only sadamsha. This is the reason why, even though you may miss many classes, but the table is still here, comes to class regularly, it does not get enlightened. Only Sat it is, and then that is all the table is. Only one amsha it is able to broadcast, it is able to project. Then we go to other living beings than the human being. Living beings other than human beings, like dog, cat, etc. What do you see? Sadamsha is there or not? Yes. And then Chit is also there. Monkey, Chit is definitely there. Yes. That's why you give it lot of space and then walk on this side. And then having given it lot of space, especially if you go that side in the evening, having given it lot of space, and you say, aha, okay, I am 10 feet away from the monkey. So you go near the railing and one monkey is sitting right there. So here a monkey, there a monkey. So this way, the monkey has what? Chit and Sat. How do we know? Because it has Chit, because it looks at you. And then looks at your hands. What is there? Is there a bag? Is there something? And it has much stronger sense of smell than all of us combined. Even if you say, I don't have anything, it will smell a banana in your pocket. And so this way, the monkey has Sat and Chit. That's why, unlike the table, the monkey can jump. monkey can dance, monkey can bite, monkey can even give you a hug. Once I saw on this side, I went and there was a sight to see. One sadhu sitting there, and the monkey fell straight from the tree onto his lap. I think they have done this many times before, and it gave him a hug and he hugged it back. I said, Namaha. If I had my camera, I would have taken a picture. It was really something else. And so straight it fell onto his, and he was expecting it. And it fell, and then it hugged. And so Sat and Chit, you see, manifest in all the life forms. But what is missing in all the life forms? Ayyo, out of 2 I have Parishesha Nyayat. What is missing? Ananda is missing. Monkey may go like this, but it is not smiling. Yeah, and even though people send me photos of their dogs, look, he is smiling at you, Swamini ji, he is not smiling, okay? He is simply opening his mouth and wagging the tongue out, that's all. Tongue is out, mouth is out, and you see the teeth. And what is it that we do with our pets? Anthropomorphize. Anthropomorphize means do a particular kind of an adhyasa. It's called anthropomorphize adhyasa. And what is this adhyasa? You attribute the human emotion of ananda onto non-human things. It will have some little inhibited ananda will be there, but it's not broadcast. So if you give it a favorite treat, the tail will wag the dog, because the tail is wagging so fast that dog is not wagging the tail. What is happening? Tail is wagging the dog. That's how you conclude dog is having what? Ananda. But it's an inhibited ananda. It's an inhibited ananda because it's not, the dog cannot communicate verbally or even otherwise, like how that joy, that limitless joy, it cannot have. It cannot, and it also need not have. Why? Because it doesn't have complexes centered on itself. The monkey doesn't think, I'm not a beautiful monkey. I need to be a beautiful monkey. It is accepting of itself. The dog also doesn't say, I am a pedigreed dog. I am a wonderful dog. I am a beautiful dog. I won the dog show competition. It doesn't think like that. And it could care less. Whereas in the human being, as we see, everyone is an ananda hog. We want ananda badly. The dog is not seeking ananda. The dog is seeking some comfort and contentment, food and whatever it has, whatever it needs, it has, it is okay. It is happy being what it is. But the human being is not happy being what they are. They are not happy at all. And so the search for ananda in the human being itself shows that there is capacity for limitless ananda to be manifest in the human being, because that is what one is after. You ask anybody anywhere in the whole universe, what do they want? Ananda, happiness. When do they want it? Yesterday. And how long do they want it? All life long. They want ananda all life long. And then what happens? Then we have this very wonderful example of Agni. So similarly, the Atma also, Satchit Ananda is there, that which is intrinsic to the Atma is there, but only some upadhis, the inert upadhis, can only have Sat, and the other jivas than the human being can have Sat and Chit, whereas the human being alone can have all three. This explains the difference in the same Atma manifest differently in all beings. Okay, and then what else does the thing say? Yeah, then one more question can arise. Agnihi yatha bhuvanam pravishtaha rupam pratirupo babhuva. So Atma also rupam pratirupam babhuva, same thing we have to say. Now the question can come, okay, I know I am Sat Chit, I know I have Sat and I know I have Chit, but then the Chaitanya is only experienced underneath the wall that is called the skin. We have seen the whole thing about the body as a fort, we have seen this. Puram Ekadasha Dwaram, we have seen. Body is like a fort, we have seen this. And so the wall of the fort becomes the skin. So here, if I pinch myself, Chaitanya is there or not? Ow, yes. Here, ow. And this finger, yes. This finger, yes. In between these two fingers, no Chaitanya, because no sensation. And here also I can prick many pins here, 1 inch even above these fingers, no sensation. Above the head, if somebody hits a hammer 2 inches above, no sensation. I won't even know perhaps. Below the feet, if somebody sets fire to the feet just, out of reach of the sensation, no sensation. So it is very easy to conclude that the Chaitanya is confined to the body-mind-sense complex. And everybody makes that mistake and concludes that also. How do we know? Because that is how we say, that is how we lead our lives. Here is Chaitanya, this is belonging to me. And so, if like the Agni, it is all pervasive Atma, why don't I sense the Chaitanya outside? That's why the last word is there. What is the last word? Bahihi. Bahihi cha, bahishcha. So if the Chaitanya is all pervasive, I should be able to sense here, and in between these two fingers I should be able to say, ow, don't do that, it hurts. Don't shoot me here. But supposing I am standing like this and somebody shoots, I will say, bach gaya, and nothing happened to me, I am saved. So this is a doubt, and then we have to see that the all-pervasive Atma is there even between the fingers or even the antascha bahishcha. So, and what is the difference? The difference is, if I look, if we can take the example of light. So now the finger here has light, correct? And the lit finger becomes very obvious to me, because the finger should have light for the eyes to see. Now the light above has lit these fingers, and so I can see the fingers. The spaces between the fingers, are they lit or not? They are lit. But there is no medium in particular. I can see the table, I can see this, but I am not wanting to see that. So I am not focusing on that. So therefore, since the medium is not there, the Chaitanya looks unmanifest. The Chaitanya looks as though it is not there. In between the various beings, there is no Chaitanya. This is the mistake that we make. So therefore, what is said, antascha bahishcha. Now, if this much is understood, let's go to Bhashya. Agnihi yatha ekah eva prakashatma san bhuvanam bhavanti asmin bhutani iti bhuvanam ayam lokah tam imam pravishtah anupravishtaha. Yeah. So, yatha ekaha eva agnihi. And what is this agnihi? Atma in the form of light. Even here Adi Shankara doesn't miss the opportunity to show the oneness of everything. Agni is the example, but actually it is the Atma residing in everybody in the form of light. So, Prakashatma San being in the form of the Atma in the form of all light, what does it do? Bhuvanam pravishtaha. It has entered the world. Why is the world called Bhuvanam? Bhavanti asmin sarvani bhutani iti. Bhuvanam, that in which everything is contained. All the beings are contained, as it were, in which? Because nothing is, so bhuvanam means universe. Is there any bhuta, any element or anything born of the elements outside this universe? No. If there is something outside this universe, that too will be the universe alone. Then the scientists and the astronomers will have to recalculate what is outside, inside. They will say, oh, we made a mistake. We thought this was outside. Actually, this is inside. Nothing can be outside the universe. And so, bhavanti means are there, are contained, so to speak. It's a receptacle for all the beings, in which everything is born, in which is the receptacle in which everything is. So this bhuvanam, bhavanti asmin bhutani iti bhuvanam, very lovely derivation. So what is the, then for those of us who don't understand, Adi Shankara says, ayam lokaha, this world. So then, having entered imam pravishtaha means what? Anupravishtaha. Why does pravishtaha become anupravishtaha? Because the pravesha of Agni here in the example is not in a square shape, is not in a round shape, it's not in an oblong or rectangular shape. It is anupravishtaha, it is in the shape of that which it lights up. Very beautiful example, so apt. So therefore it is anupravishtaha. It is not pravishtaha because it doesn't have any particular form to do pravesha in. It has no particular form, no particular shape, and so therefore its shape is the shape of whatever it lights up, it takes on that shape, as it were. And so therefore pravishtaha, very cleverly Adi Shankara with a stroke of genius converts it into, actually should be read as anupravishtaha. Rupam prati. Rupam means with regard to every form. Each and every form, when you want to say in Sanskritam, there is vipsa, repetition. Rupam. And also when you want to emphasize something, you repeat that. Like go slowly. Yeah. Shanaihi. Slowly, the mind will settle down. In 6th chapter, Krishna is told, Shanaihi uparamet. Slowly, the mind will settle down with abhyasa of meditation. Slowly. And so like this, there is vipsa, repetition there. And here the repetition is to show that not a single rupa is been left out. Each and every rupa is covered by this. And then what are these rupas? With regard to the fire, Darvadi, Dakhya Bhedam, Prati, Ityarthaha. Yeah. Daru. Now don't take the colloquial meaning of Daru. Okay, then we will be in trouble. Alright, yeah. Then that will go to another example. I'm not even going to say what that is. If you understand, you understand. Yaf pashyati, sapashyati. And but we take the Samskrita meaning of the Daru. Daru is a sacred wood, name of a sacred tree. And its full name is Devadaru. And I believe it is the same tree out of which the murtis are carved yearly in Jagannatha Swami temple. So in Odisha, in Puri. So that they have wooden murtis, and then they have this, they are carved, that's why it's called Devadaru. So it's a sacred tree. So then if that tree is used for warming up, maybe we make a logs out of it, and then we have Daru log, and then Daru is very thick at the girth, and so we have a thick log, and then what will the shape of the fire take? Shape of the log. Log is thick, log is round, log is long, circular and long. It will burn in the shape of the Daru. You don't say fire is burning. What do you say? Daru is burning. Devadaru is burning, you say. You don't say fire is burning. So like that, then you take some other small, thin little bush, So you take a little twig from that and then set fire to that. What will it, what will it do? The fire will become the slim shape of the twig. If the twig has a fork in it, the fire will also have a fork in it. That is the idea. So the Bheda is in Darvadi, in the Daru, etc., in the name and the form called Daru. So then Dahya Bheda. Dahya means Dahana Yogyaha Dahyaha, that which is the object of burning. So the shape of the fire is dependent upon what? The object that is to be burnt. So the burnable, the combustible object is called Dahya. So there is Dahya Bheda. Dahya Bheda Bhedaha Vartate. So Dahya Bheda Vartate means there is Dahya Bheda. So small twig will burn differently than a big mansion and a big piece of wood. So this is called Dahya Bheda. That which is to be burnt burns in its own way because of its own shape and size. The fire appears to take on that size. That is the idea. Pratirupaha tatra tatra pratirupavan dahya bhedena bahuvidho babhuva. Yeah. So tatra tatra pratirupavan. What is pratirupavan? Agnihi pratirupavan. So this pratirupavan, the one for which pratirupam asti, that for which has every form. What is that? Formless Agni. Not exactly formless, but it takes on the form of whatever it is. Agni which has no particular shape, no particular form, is almost like a liquid flowing to, just like the water flows into various vessels, like that also Agni also does the same thing. And so tatra tatra pratirupavan means in each context, in each situation, tatra tatra, what happens? It takes on pratirupo babhuva, pratirupavan, the one who has the quality, the attribute of taking on various shapes and forms is called pratirupavan. And then how did he become pratirupavan? Dahya bhedena bahuvidho babhuva. So Agni became pratirupavan not because of itself, but because of the bheda connected to the object. Object bheda dahya bhedena. Because of the differences in the combustible objects, it took on the form of those objects. Tatra tatra became pratirupavan, became the one who has many forms, and therefore we can say bahuvidhaha babhuva. It became many things. It became a burning piece of wood, the fire. It became a small little lamp, diya, and it became what else? The fire in the stove. And then it became the fire on the mountain. Like this, it took on many forms because it became pratirupavan based on the dahya bheda. So, if this is the very beautiful Bhashya, beautiful and very clear. This is Adi Shankara, so much clarity. Similarly, ekaha eva tatha sarvabhutantaratma सर्वेषां भूतानां अभ्यन्तरः आत्मा अतिसूक्ष्मत्वात् दार्वादिषु इव सर्वदेहं प्रति प्रविष्टत्वात् प्रतिरूपः बभूव. So, in the same manner, tatha means likewise. Likewise, ekaha eva atma. How many agnis was there? Ekaha eva agnihi is compared to ekaha eva Atma. And then what is this Atma? Sarva Bhutantaratma, the Antaratma of every being, sentient and non-sentient, inert and moving, inert and that which has life. Every form is Atma alone. The truth of every form, the content of every form is Atma alone. Meaning, if I say flower is, the isness belongs to what? Atma. Very nice. This is very good. Everything I ask, the answer is what? That's how it becomes Sarvantara, Sarvabhutantara Atma. So the isness belongs to not the object. The isness is lent by the presence of the Atma, which is the sole presence in the entire universe of name and forms. One presence, single, indivisible presence, and that presence is the one presence alone. And what is that presence? Atma. Single presence alone. And then that is that is what is called Atma. And then that Atma alone is the one that lights up everything. In everything there is a single presence. So something exists. When I say pot is, isness of the pot belongs to what? Atma. Isness means existence. Don't get flummoxed by the word isness. Atma. And then that which shines, shines means what? That which is available to talk, eat, etc. That which is sentient, the sentiency does not belong to the object, but belongs to what? Atma. What is the example? Like even this body, mind, sense complex seems to be eating, drinking, walking, talking, listening, sleeping, and then really speaking, what gives the eyes the power to see? Atma. What gives the eyes the power to hear? Atma. Not directly, but through Atma lights up the mind. And we already saw why is Atma partial to lighting up the mind first and not the ears directly? Because the ears do not have the capacity to take on the light, the sentiency aspect of the Atma. Ears do not have the capacity to take it directly. Jadatvat. Mind is also jada, but it is sukshma, more sukshma than all the other sense organs is the mind. Therefore, the sense organs are the horses in this Upanishad, and the mind is the rein that controls them. So the mind is more sukshma, more pervasive, more sukshma than the sense organs and the body that it lights up. So the mind borrows the sentiency from the Atma and then lights up, blesses the sense organs to see, hear, etc. So then, where does the sentiency come from? Just the Atma, nothing else. And then Ananda also, whenever one is happy, accidentally, whenever one is happy, whenever one laughs, whenever one smiles, whenever one is contented, whenever there is Shanti, that Shanti belongs to not the Upadhi, but the Atma. Shanti is not the property of the body. Shanti is the property of the Atma. And so, therefore, it is called Swarupa Shanti. And that Atma being myself, the Shanti is the property of me, not the mind. If Shanti was the property of the mind, then I have to work so hard to keep the mind in a happy, then I wouldn't have to work so hard to keep the mind happy. The mind is crying all the time. I have to do so many shenanigans to keep the mind contented. So, that being the case, this is the situation here also. Just like that, Sarva Bhuta Antaratma. Antaratma means Pratyagatma. Antaryami. Antastishtan Yamayati. That which staying again within quotes, residing within, restrains, disciplines, controls everything. Antaryami. Sarva Bhutantaratma, the truth of everything, the content of everything. Everything is in a particular way because of whose presence, because of whose sentiency, that is the Atma. So, Sarvesham Bhutanam Abhyantaraha. He just is explaining the word Sarva Bhutantaratma. Abhyantaraha means it's as though located within, because it's the truth of all the koshas, all the various bhedas, upadhi bhedas. It is staying, so to speak, within. Why? Why is it within? Ati Sukshmatvat. So, Ati Sukshmatvat, because it is the subtler than the mind, it's the subtlest of everything. It cannot be seen even if you do a post-mortem. Sometimes they, dead body, because they don't know why the body has died, and then they do a post-mortem. They will not find mind, they will not find buddhi, and they will certainly not find what? Atma. Because it is not physical. It is a subtle presence, and it is sensed within the body-mind sense complex. So it is called Pratyagatma, or what else is called? Sarva Abhyantara, Sarvesham Bhutanam Abhyantaraha Atma. Why? Ati Sukshmatvat Atmanaha. And then, so then what else does it say? Did we read the whole thing? No. Okay. Then, Darvadishu iva Sarvadeham prati Pravishtatvat Pratirupaha Babhuva Bhishya Svena Avikritena Rupena Akashavat. Yeah, very nice Bhashya. So, Darvadishu, just like the aforementioned Devadaru tree, etc., Sarvadeham Prati. So, the Daru is what? The Devadaru is like the body, like the various body, mind, sense complexes. In the example, the wood that the fire burns is as good as this Upadhi. Okay. So, why is this fellow as good as the wood? Because no reactions. That's why. Okay. So, that's why compared to a block of wood. So, here the Atma, as though like the fire has entered the Daru and is burning in the shape of the Daru, here also Sarvadeham Prati Pravishtatvat. Here also the Atma has as though entered each and every body, which is like the Daru, which is like the what is that? Nyagrodha, and then what is that? Ficus religiosa, what is that called? Ashwatha, Nyagrodha, all these trees, like the fire has entered. Similarly, this Atma, Sarvadeham Prati Pravishtatvat, because it has appears to have entered every body, therefore it has taken the shape and the form of that body. So, Pratirupaha Upadhi Sadrishaha Babhuva. It has become just like the Upadhi Sadrishaha Babhuva. And then not only Antar Bhavati, also Bhishya. Bhishya means Svena, in its own form. Svena Rupena. What is the form of the Atma? Formless. Yeah. So, in its formless form, Adi Shankara tells us, Svena Avikritena Rupena. Avikritena means no distortions. There is no Vikriti, there is no Vikara, no modification. In its unmodified form, what is its Atma's unmodified form? Formless form, as it were. Like what? What else can we have already compared Atma to light. What is left? Space. That's all. So, now Atma is what? Space-like. So, that's why that is one more example we can see. So, here there is Chaitanyam, here there is Chaitanyam, in between also what? Chaitanyam is there. Like here there is space, here also there is space, and so space is where? Everywhere. In between each name and form, what is there? Space. Inside each name and form, inside each head, what is there? Space. That's how one says spaced out. So space is what? Antarvartate. It is inside also. That's why you say spaced out. And at 12:30, the space transfers from the head to the stomach. And you say, I'm hungry. All right. And so the space is within and the space is also without. Without becoming the stomach, without becoming the head, just like space is every day, everywhere, Atma is also everywhere. Have we finished everything? Yes. Akashavat. All right. Now, since this is for Manda Buddhinam and Atyanta Vichalita Buddhinam, we saw that Anriju Buddhinam Kutarkikena, what? What is that? Dushita Buddhinam, since it is for all these Buddhis who have been disturbed by various wrong notions, the same thing is repeated. Why? Just in case you missed it, same thing is repeated with regard to another principle. What is the next one? Vayu. Yeah. Agni did not work. Why? Because the person had ragadveshas. Person was fearful of fire and said, no, I had a bad experience with fire. I got burnt once little bit as a child. Therefore, no fire, no fire. And the whole time the person was rocking back and forth with the hands in the ears. I am not listening. And so therefore, all right, no fire for you. You have fire issues. Doesn't matter. Let us take something that has no form at all of its own. What is that? Vayu. And same exact thing. You can close your eyes and chant. Okay? Vayur yathaiko bhuvanam pravishtaha. Rupam prati rupo babhuva. Ekastatha sarvabhutantaratma. Rupam prati rupo bahishcha. Yeah. So, what's the difference? No difference. If you miss, there is actually no difference. What is the only one word is different. What is that? Vayuhu. Instead of Agni, Vayuhu is there. This you can tell even if you have not been attending the Sanskrit classes. You can tell this. Yeah. It's exactly like the previous mantra. And so same thing, we can go through the same thing, so that just in case we need to, since the Shruti thinks we should repeat it, let us repeat it. Vayu is there where? Outside how? In unmanifest form. And then take a deep breath right now, don't hold it. Take a deep breath. What happened to Vayu? Prana. It became my prana. That Vayu became my prana. And then this prana is what? Now my prana. The whole thing has changed. Not only prana, it is the entire kosha. What is kosha? Koshavat achhadakatva, that which as though covers. It's a place where I make a mistake. I mistake the Atma to be what? Prana. I mistake the Atma for prana. Why? Because it animates this body. It digests the food in the form of what? The samana vayu. It digests the food. It excretes the waste. Apana vayu. All these things are there. Vyana, circulation. Samana, digestion. Apana, elimination. Prana, respiration. Udana, tick, 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 tick. Udana means what? Udana means the eviction. Eviction of what? The Chidabhasa, the Sukshma Sharira from the Sthula Sharira. So one Vayu is having a counter in its hand. Each time you breathe, it counts. And that's why no one should hyperventilate. No one should go, what's going to happen? You're shortening your life. Don't do that. No, but I get anxious sometimes. Keep a paper bag handy. Breathe into the paper bag. Why? Because when you breathe your own breath, you create what? CO2. What is CO2? Carbon dioxide. And that carbon dioxide in small quantities, in large quantities it will kill. So, in small quantities it calms down the mind. Okay? Yeah. So, that's why don't hyperventilate and shorten the life. And so this is, so you see how attached we are to the prana. These fivefold pranas becomes a whole kosha. And what is the shape of this kosha? The shape of this kosha is exactly like the shape of the body. So the pranamaya fills up the annamaya, like even the water fills up the pot and takes on the shape of the pot. So the pranamaya, since vayu doesn't have any shape, the prana also doesn't have any shape, and then it takes on the shape of the body. It takes on the shape of the annamaya kosha, food body. So then it takes on the shape of the body itself. This is what is called prana. So you see what a transformation it is inside. Outside no form, inside a particular kind of a form with particular functions. So therefore the Atma is mistaken for various koshas. The Atma is not seen as untouched by anything that it lends its presence to, anything it illumines. So then, but in the body what has happened? The pranamaya kosha has a name. What is it called? Pranamaya kosha. Okay? Yeah. So inside the body, the pranamaya kosha has a name. Outside the body, what is its name? Vayu. It has a name, it has a form inside. Outside it is all pervasive vayu. Vati. It is just blowing everywhere where it wants. Nothing can stop it. So even if you close the window, it will come in between where the window closes, there is a little chink, and then it comes through that. Only way to keep out the vayu is a vacuum container. That's the only exception. So otherwise, wherever space goes, vayu can also go. And once it goes, then we say that, oh my God, this room has a stale smell, it needs to be aired out. When was it that we opened the windows last? So the vayu is what? The vayu in the room appears to be dushita. Then what? Because it carries the gandha, it carries the fragrance of the earth, or the bad smell, foul smell of the earth, it carries of the environment, and it appears to be dushita, but as soon as you open the windows, what happens? Gone. Smell is gone, vayu also is gone. More vayu circulates, so the vayu is that which is always in circulation. So then therefore you have the differences in the shape of the upadhi, room vayu, and then what else? And then body vayu. You say, you go to the Ayurvedic doctor and you have a new lingo. What is the new lingo? I have too much vayu in my body. It's called vata. Vata is deranged. Vata is too much. So the vata is deranged, but atma is not deranged. That's the idea. Okay? And so the vata takes on a deranged form, but the vayu literally is not deranged. And similarly, the atma takes on a crazy form in a mind that is stressed and anxious, but it is neither deranged nor is it anxious. Nothing more else to say. And so it also takes on, just like the Agni, it appears to takes on the medium, whatever the medium is, that's what it is. It appears to shrink in a small body, appears to grow in a big body, but there is no form, just like the Atma. So Adi Shankara gives himself a coffee break by making it a small bhashya. What is the small bhashya? Vayuhu yatha ekah ityadi. Ityadi means, please, if you did not understand this, please go behind and reread and restudy everything. Pranatmana deheshu anupravishtaha. Yeah. So there it was Prakashatmana Anupravishtaha Deheshu, and here what? Pranatmana Deheshu Anupravishtaha, and taking on the form. So not the Anupravesha is not important here. The importance is taking on that particular form. That is the example here. Anupravesha, this is not about how everything is Atma. That is not what it is trying to prove here. These two verses are trying to prove to, these three verses, the one that comes next one also, they are trying to prove two things to us. First is that the Atma is formless, like the examples here. What are the examples? Agni, Vayu, etc. Formless, they take on the shape of what is being entered into. And the second thing that the Shruti is trying to tell us, Shruti is trying to prove, is that even though it takes on the shape and the form of the thing in which it enters, thing means upadhi, it is not affected by that upadhi. It is not at all affected by that upadhi. This is what we have to see. We have to understand this completely and fully. We have to see this, and then it is not affected by the shape of the upadhi, and it is not affected by the limitations of the upadhi either. So first point, it's not affected by the shape because it is formless and not having any particular form, and then it's not affected by the limitations of the upadhi, like the limitations of the mind. Atma is sad because the mind is sad. No, no such thing is possible. And then further, yeah, Rupam Rupam Pratirupaha Babhuva iti Ityadi Samanam. Yeah, go back and read. Okay, yeah. Then this is the concluding mantra for this particular set of triad of verses. What is going to now be a triad of verses. So we discussed what? Agni, then Vayu, and the last example is that of Surya. So Agni and Vayu proved that the Atma has no particular form or shape, and then it is as though taking on the form of various upadhis. The first two mantras have proven that. The purpose of the last mantra is to show that, like the sun, the Atma is not affected by whatever it illumines. Even though it illumines the sad mind, and therefore I come to know what? Ayyo, I am sad. Is the Atma also becoming sad? No. The Ananda upholds the sadness in the person. So therefore it is not possible to be sad at all. It's the Ananda that upholds the sadness. It's the Satchidanandam Brahma that broadcasts the sadness. So the sadness is not the property of the Atma, just like the whatever the sun illumines is not affecting the sun. That is the idea. A little Sangati here. Ekasya sarvatmatve samsara dukkhitvam parasya eva syad iti praptam. Yeah, so now we have a terrible contingency. What is the contingency? Ekasya sarvatmatve. Because there is only one thing which is sarvatma. It has sarvatmatvam. This ekah atma has the status of being sarvatma, sarvatmatvam syat. Then everyone's dukkha, samsara dukkhitvam, because it pervades all over the samsara. Bhuvanam pravishtaha, correct? It has pervaded all over the samsara. And what is samsara? Full of sadness. Sad, sad people, mad, mad people, sad, sad people. So in every buddhi, what is there? Atma. And every buddhi is sad buddhi, mad buddhi, upset buddhi, angry buddhi. So this kind of a samsari buddhi, what should it happen? So where is this dukkhitvam? Dukkhitvam, sorrow. To what does the sorrow belong? Does the sorrow belong to the Atma? Iti Shanka prapta. In this manner there is a vichikitsa. Does this sorrow belong to the Atma? Because wherever there is sorrow, what do you find? Atma. So therefore, does the sorrow belong to the Atma? One kind of doubt, or the other kind of doubt, okay, Atma is Sarvatma, it has no shape, it is outside, it is inside, but inside every body, what is there? Sorrow. Outside it might be fine, it is not affected, but inside the body mind sense complex, inside, outside, within this, it's all from the standpoint of our own ignorance. So inside the body, if it is there, then it is affected by what all are the mental, emotional conditions of the body mind sense complex, i.e. sorrow. Outside we have Shuddha Chaitanya, inside we have what? Dushita Chaitanya. Iti prapte, if this shanka is there, ataha idam uchyate. Suryo yatha sarvalokasya chakshuh न लिप्यते चाक्षुषैर्बाह्य दोषैः एकस्तथा सर्वभूतान्तरात्मा न लिप्यते लोकदुःखेन बाह्यः ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरि